Welcome to the Infinite Life with Katische Haberfield. I'd like to take you on a transformative journey, exploring the mysteries of the soul. I hope you enjoy the regression case studies, mediumship interviews, and fascinating discussions that I've had with guests on the podcast. I hope that these answer some of the questions that you might have about life on this planet, on others, and in other dimensions. Thank you for joining me, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and most importantly, share with your friends. Namaste.
Welcome back to the Infinite Life podcast. This week's is my turn. You can hear I'm sort of a little bit nervous and excited about sharing my sessions with you. I always get like this when it comes to doing my sessions because I want to share. I like to share. I feel compelled to share, but it's also nervous for me to share because, you know, just like you, I have kids, or maybe you don't have kids, but family members, and I always think, oh my God, what am I going to do if they see this episode? And also at the same time, oh my goodness, what happens if I die and I never share my wisdom? So as I was talking with a former guest on the show, Angelina Carlton, who was talking about legacy on that podcast episode. My legacy for my children is this podcast because, you know, right now they might think, gee, she's an amazing mum, or gee, she's a terrible mum, or something in between. And they might say, gee, she's a bit weird with this spiritual stuff. Or they might go, oh, I actually secretly watch it. I don't know. But, you know, your kids always think you're weird. But after you're gone, they think, geez, I wish there was something that my mum or dad left me to let me know a little bit more about their personality. And I do remember when my dad died, I accidentally called his work number and got his voicemail message. And I hung up and I cried because I was like, oh, sorry, Dad, I forgot you were dead. And then I was like horrified at the same time. But I heard my dad's voice and that was lovely. And then I had my dad's phone for a while and I took the photos off, and I don't know where those videos are now, but geez, it was nice to see what my dad had recorded as videos in the phone. And just to see life from his perspective. So without, as they would say in The Castle, a famous Australian movie, without rabbiting on, love, I'd like to say that I hope that sometime after I'm gone, because we all hope that we go a long time before our children, that my children will get a glimpse into who I was through the work that I've produced. And this is one way I can do that. And the other reason why I decided to do these sessions was because the sessions that I have put up on the podcast so far have been of my own personal experiences. Again, because I wanted to share the soul lessons, and again, because I had to, because they were blocks that I needed to get through to get the visibility for this podcast and to be able to do my mediumship and to be able to write the books. They were quite horrific, really. You know, there's one with a king who was quite a emotional, sensitive, uber romantic, but had many wives and was very distressed about his life's experience and the way things turned out. And then there was a session where we went back into a past life in a monastery, which is rather horrendous because, again, I was fighting with God. Well, not God specifically, but the priest, because I remembered God differently than the way that it was explained to me in my ordained life in the Franciscan monastery in the United Kingdom in London. What else have we shared? Oh, yeah, we don't want to go into the fact that I was murdered in that monastery, but anyway. we also went to a lifetime where I was a mortician and I could tell how people died, which was different to the way the medical fraternity saw it. And then I went to a lifetime where I was a natural clairvoyant in a pygmy tribe, but the witch doctor killed me. And I had third eye implications until I did that episode. What else did we do? Oh, I can't remember. I've put quite a few. There's a whole season on the podcast. And if you remember, it caused me great fear when those came out. But anyway, so blah, 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 fear, unhappiness, sadness, regret, guilt, remorse, woe is me. So I thought it was about high time I did a Happiest Memories. A Happiest Memories of My Soul session. And thankfully, as always, Cindy Porter came to the rescue and said, I'll help you. Give me your script and I'll read it and I will be your person to help you find the happiest memories of your soul. So here we are. And it's rather unexpected. It was totally not where I thought I was going, but I love it. So I'm sharing with you my 2 sessions and there will be 2 review sessions as well. It's kind of a bit addictive because now I'm like, I want to do more. I want to do more. But sometimes we have to stop and say 2 is enough. Let's deal with the fear that you'll feel by exposing yourself, so-called, in public with these sessions, because therapists shouldn't do that, you know. We must be serious. We must not be all these things that accreditation and things require. And maybe it's just time to focus on living in the moment and creating happiness from the things that this session shows me are things that make me happy. So I won't say any more because I will reveal in the 2 review sessions the implications of what I saw as I reviewed the session with Cindy. And Cindy Porter has now achieved new qualifications and she's a certified life coach now, specializing in helping women annihilate anxiety and rediscover their self-confidence. So that's a plug for Cindy Porter Coaching. She's still does her Akashic Records sessions and she still does her beautiful animal artistry, but she has recently done some training and I don't know a lot about it, but she's now a certified life coach, and you can go to her Facebook profile or her website to find out further information. And I'll put here we go. It says she's a neurotransformation therapist as well as a life coach. So there you go. Cindy is using her coaching capacity in the review sessions. That's all I wanted to say. A long way around of saying things. So that's why I also chose her, because she's been my Akashic guide and I have used her in coaching capacity prior to her official certification, because she's a natural born coach in my opinion. So there you go. Enjoy. It's a little bit crazy. And if you're on my socials, I have used AI, Meta's AI, to craft pictures. And I've done this a lot with Katie Carey's session and Trudy Mellon's session, so that I can show you what I see through my eye when either being the person who is taking people into these sessions, because I'm clairvoyant, so I can see to an extent what your soul authorizes me to see. And then to show you what I have seen in my own mind. And it's AI, so they get it wrong. And you can't do a lot of things, but you can create a general image. So watch out for those AI posts on my social media accounts. And I'm going to go back and fix them, do some more for the sessions with Cindy and other sessions that I may have missed along the way. So I'll stop rabbiting on, as they say here, and Thank you once again so much for listening to the Infinite Life with Katische Haberfield podcast. Couldn't do it without you. Enjoy the episode. Namaste.
I'm asking the angels to now move and carry you through time and space to another moment, another place where there is something important for you to learn and understand. Something that will help you in the very best way. Something to show us your happiest soul moments. The angels are carrying you, drifting and floating, drifting and floating through time and space. You feel protected and safe, comfortable and relaxed. The angels know the way. They're taking you to a moment in time that is your most happiest moment for you. Drifting and floating, drifting and floating through time and space. And now the angels are stopping. They are bringing the bubble of white light that you are in back down, down, down to the surface. The bubble of light is on the surface now. I'm going to count from 3 to 1, and when I reach 1, you'll be on the other side of the white bubble, our destination for today. 3, moving through the white light. 2, moving through the white light. 1, be on the other side of it now. You are in another place, another time. Look around you. Engage all of your senses. Look with your mind's eye. Feel and know through your energy body. Listen with your spiritual ears. What is your first impression?
Well, I saw black boots with buckles down the side, and then I saw my feet sitting, sitting down, and my feet were on like a step down, but it was like black rubber. And it was like, if you could imagine, I haven't ever been in a helicopter, but just say you were sitting on the edge of a helicopter and your feet were on the edge, and then you were going to go jump out.
So do you feel like you're in the Air Force or the Army or something of that nature?
No, because it looks like I'm going to jump down into a planet.
Okay. So if you look out from your seated position, do you see blue sky or what do you see?
It's like wispy clouds, and then the outline of a curved shaped planet like an astronaut sees, but I can't make out what the planet is yet. It's just that it's a planet, and it's got a lot of blue, a lot of water. That's as far as I can see so far.
Okay. So let's move the helicopter or the vehicle closer to the surface. We'll bring it down and down, closer to the surface, so that you're ready to jump off. And when you're ready, take the leap.
Okay, so it doesn't appear to be watery. It appears to be making a crunchy sound when I put my boot down.
So crystalline type.
More of a dried out crunchy.
Okay. All right. What else can you see around you?
Sounds stupid. The word rover came to my mind, like a rover, a robotic dog to accompany me. Like,
Yep, a little robot dog. Yep.
yeah, like you can sniff out smells of poisonous gases
Right. Okay.
so that I can activate a switch or something to add a filter
Yep.
to my space mask
Yep.
so that I don't breathe it in. The dog is not a humanoid like me. It's more of a sentient technology.
So more along the lines of an android, a sentient android.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep. Okay.
And I sense it has accompanied me on these sort of missions before. So he's my companion, you could say.
Yep.
He's sort of my, I guess, guide dog, you want to say? Like, he not only sniffs out the poisonous gases, but he... Oh, I see. Oh, dear. So something happened here. And it's crunchy because there was some sort of substance that... It's hurting my head. Hmm. Destroyed the surface of this planet.
Okay.
And there's someone stuck here that couldn't or wouldn't go. So I see a lot of ships leaving the planet. And this one sort of, this person being sort of was either afraid or
Miss the boat.
refused or something, and the sniffer dog is helping me sniff out the path to where they are hiding.
So you're on a rescue mission.
Yeah, that's why I sort of laughed, because it's kind of like the ghosts. They're not dead, but you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
the soul likes to rescue people. Sorry. I don't know why I find that funny, but it is funny. Because humans say that you shouldn't. rescue people, that they have to rescue themselves. Yet I seem to be here again rescuing somebody, even when they don't want to be rescued, but they do want to be rescued, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So I get the image of a big, brave man. He's not. He has a suit of some sort on, like an armor of some sort.
And is he humanoid? He's a man.
The word exoskeleton came into my mind. Whatever that means. It's like he has a suit on, but it's also part of him. Oh,
Yep. Okay.
I've had that before somewhere. And he's sentient, but to all extents and purposes, he appears like he is the suit, but he's not the suit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can't lift the suit off him like
Yep.
an astronaut could lift the suit off and bingo, there's a human underneath. This is like the soul is the
It's
spirit
part of him.
is inside of this suit.
Yep.
And it's mostly black. It's made up of panels that are curved and they're sort of shiny. And he's got a, like we would call a helmet on that seems as though it would have a flip panel to lift up so that you could lift the visor. So the analogy would be when somebody is jousting and they flip the lid.
Yep.
And you can put it up and down, but that's sort of just decoration because there's no eyes behind there. Does that make sense? It's just the spirit.
Okay.
Because when we're human, we have this suit which has bones, and you can't flip the lid of our eyes to see eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we open our eyelids though.
Yeah, but you don't lift up part of your face to see who's in behind it.
Okay.
You just trust that there's a spirit inside the body, right? So this fella has the costume that we would call the costume is his body, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he chose the form of this armored thing.
Yep.
And so I see. He was sort of on a mission.
Yeah.
And his mission was simply to make sure, I got it. The people got on the ships to leave the planet.
That was his job.
Then, yeah. And then he was supposed to jump on board the last ship. For some unknown reason, he didn't.
Was it too full?
No, nothing of that sort. It's just...
Was he concerned there was more people?
I don't know the answer. That's why I'm here. I'm here to sort of question him and see why he's still here, and to check if he hasn't malfunctioned, so to speak.
But he's sentient, so how would he malfunction?
When I say malfunction, I mean like check out, hasn't decided to go back like humans would die. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yep.
So what I'm confused about is that normally when his sort decide to, you would call reincarnate, they dissolve. Seems like a weird thing, but they dissolve. Their costume dissolves.
Yep.
And they turn back into to the white light
Yep.
and return to source or some kind of outpost station to receive the next mission, because he is a task-based soul,
Okay.
not an experience-based soul. Does that make sense? He's under instructions. He doesn't have free will. He does not have choice.
Yep.
He doesn't question. And so that's the anomaly, because if he doesn't question, then why is he still here?
Mm-hmm.
How can somebody who doesn't question suddenly feel an act of defiance or disobedience? It doesn't
Yep.
make sense.
Yep.
And so it perplexes me. And that is why I decided to come check it out rather than just say, wait for him to naturally decide to disintegrate or to return to the mothership of that species.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I am going now with the dog, to check it out and then maybe see if he's there because somebody else refused to get on the ship or
Yep.
something like that. And that probably makes a bit more sense to me. Like, he's still trying to convince someone, and that someone sort of said something like, I don't want to go. This is my home. I'm going to stay here and die. And he says something like, I don't think that's in my programming. I don't think I'm allowed to let you do that. I might pick you up and throw you on the ship. And this being says something like, but I have free will. And he says, well, that's not in my programming, because it says here that there's no free will on this planet. So how can that be?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at. And here we go. Let's see what we see. Okay, so I'm talking kind of strange because he sends me this input of stream of thought message
Yep.
that I can sort of understand while I'm walking towards him. But it does sort of interfere with my transmission to you, because I'm processing two things at once and trying to figure out things, because I think in a more linear fashion than the girl Katische, who goes around and around in circles. I'm much more like Cindy. But it seems very foreign to her, so she wants to walk around a bit in her mind for a bit before we get there, and I'm trying to let her go bye-byes so that I can be more fully in control, but she doesn't like losing control because she doesn't want to be rescued, because she's always the rescuer or something. Doesn't seem to fit into this incarnation as her, not her pattern in this incarnation. And that's why she's very uncomfortable being herself, because she's had, better not say that loud, been in many particular situations where she's had to be bailed out by someone, and she's not enjoyed that experience. She's much more enjoyable. Sorry, two transmissions coming in a moment, just 1 second. Okay, so he seems to have a small child in his arms. Okay, here's a peculiarity because this child decided to incarnate on this location as it was being evacuated, which does not seem right according to the man being who is holding the baby, because oh, that seems odd too.
Just say it out loud.
It seems as though I think I'm getting an image in Katisha's mind so that she can try and understand it, but she sees the image of like a mother dying in childbirth but still having the placenta and the cord attached. And so the thing is, if we put a dead being on the ship, that would have distressed the other passengers because
Mm-hmm.
they did not know she was in active seeking of a child, because she did not communicate the wish to have a child to anybody. I don't think it's the same sort of, how do you say, mother, father, 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 mother, mother, sexual relationship thing here to
Mm-hmm.
have a baby. I think it's much more, not like you put in an order for a child, but sort of like that.
Yep.
And so I don't know if she was stupid or ignorant or just way too plain hopeful for this planet. But it seems like maybe there was a lot of paperwork and she just went ahead anyway and said, I'll just do this. Don't worry about the planet. And so the order came through and somebody said, yes, I'll take that. And they, boom, got born. And oops, it was just as the ship was leaving. So what to do? Disaster, help, distress, quick. Are you okay? And oops, no, it seems it was her dying wish. And that's why the robot person man was confused, because how can she have a wish? Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have wishes.
Mm-hmm.
And so she somehow has some kind of a contract and she died. She got her dying wish, and it was literally interpreted by her eternal mind stream as being a dying wish.
Yep.
And that seems confusing for me because it seems like there was some kind of remnants from another lifetime. Because this is not what happens on this particular planet. There are no soul contracts. So we think it smacks of something in the aura that got stuck. I believe you would call it a limiting belief.
Yep.
That has caused a contract to be activated in a planet where there is no such things. So here we have this robot man carrying a newborn baby of a species that has now evacuated a planet, and because it didn't match his instructions, he sort of malfunctioned and went like that, baby, and the ship went bye, and he's like left holding the baby,
Literally.
and it seems that there could be a speck of something also here, because it does seem a little bit funny that this mother died, had a baby, gave it to the robot who doesn't quite understand, and it seems a little bit like a sticky spider's web to me. Like,
What do you mean by sticky spider web?
like all three of them possibly knew each other in another existence when he was not a task-based being, but was an experiential being. And so when you don't heal all the remnants,
Yep.
and you decide to time makes it difficult, but when you decide to leave a planet, you've had enough, you wish to seek somewhere else, and you do not check in prior to reincarnating on a new planet, you bypass the procedure and the man who does the stamping of approvals for reincarnation. You call it, or we call it, whatever, doesn't matter, doesn't need a term. Then the stamping process that Cindy has seen once before in a session means that we have done our checks and balances, and we sort of have gone, yes, this is okay. You have nothing left to experience here. You have done what you came to do. You have learned that karma is a concept of the mind. You have freed your mind. You are not holding anybody back. You can't see any so-called ghost versions of you down there. I just saw like a sailor looking out to sea with a big binocular. It's like that's sort of, we scan the surface of the planet to see if you're up there or down there or stuck in a hole somewhere. And sometimes it can be difficult after the weather events. And we sort of have to put our feelers out to look under the ocean and the tectonic plates, some plates that go up and down.
Yep, the tectonic plate.
And sometimes we do even send messages through to Mother Gaia and the elementals if it's a big search, and maybe even some messages go into the earth with a boom and a crack, and it's kind of like, sorry, seems silly to me, and Tish finds it amusing. It's like ants scurrying with these messages.
Yep.
And it sends out a search party, which then, according to whichever planet, then sends out the rescue spirits of light, and they go searching through time and space. And it can be like swimming through an ocean where you're searching for fragments of the soul, because some souls are very impatient. And with some planets, there are very big queues. And so there are souls pressing the buzzer and going, I'm ready to go. And other ones saying, hang on, I'm still looking. And I don't know why that voice came. It's quite funny to me, seeing all the different costumes and all the different roles. And so here we are back rescuing somebody who didn't clear their auric field before departing a planet, and it's caused this situation, and here I am cleaning up the mess again. But it's not really a mess because there's a cute little baby involved. And so all I have to do is to tell the robot man, good job. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Seems out of place, but we'll take the baby and you can come with me. And so we're stepping back up
Mm-hmm.
onto the ship. And the drawbridge is up.
Mm-hmm.
And off we go.
And how does this make you feel?
Well, sort of smiling. If smiley is a word. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's satisfying to me. Because tick done. Solution found for the moment. And now I can hand the baby and the robot over to whoever is in charge of them. That's not me. And they can work out the anomaly. And that's not my job.
Mm-hmm.
My job is just to find these stuck people. And the scan of the planet, I see lots of people. They're sort of like in uniform, different to mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ship uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like, are you familiar with Star Wars?
Yep.
I don't know which team they're on, but on one of the teams, the people inside the ship have like these caps on.
Mm-hmm.
So they have those kind of caps on and those kind of uniforms,
Yep.
but they're not what I would call stormtroopers because that's just an analogy, but they're the inside people. And they have their inside uniforms on and they have been checking the planet with their equipment. And they can see no more stuck souls. So that planet will shortly explode, but we will be a long way away. And that's why those ships had to come.
Yep.
And there's someone else, it's not my job, who does look for the trajectory of two things. One, where all the sentience on this planet is going, because everything is is
It's okay.
was involved in the development of the planet
Mm-hmm.
and decided to stay in the role of a rock or a water mass or, for example, a blade of grass.
Yep.
And now that their role is functioned, they just need to get the Sleeping Beauty that is inside the middle of the planet. She's like the mother Gaia of Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Sleeping Beauty, so the crust
Mm-hmm.
has to fall away.
Yep.
And all those sentiences, they move on.
Yep.
To their next assignment. So an observer in space, what do you call it? Space, might call it, what do you call them? Meteorite? Or
Yeah.
rock?
Yep.
Comet?
Mm-hmm.
Depends on what their functionality is. And they whoosh off into their new direction. And as they fall away and the gases come out, it heats it up so it can remove the bubble of protection from around the beautiful, not mermaid, what did I say? Not princess, what do you call? Being
Mm-hmm.
who is like Mother Gaia, that she lives in the middle of the planet and stays there until the planet is done and ready to go kaboom.
Yep.
And then she does not die, of course. She has done her time being that planet,
Yep.
and she has provided great service
Mm.
because she has been directing communications.
Yep.
Whilst being in this bubble, so somebody would see. I just showed Katish. They took a photo of the planet Venus the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and it was posted on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And Katish saw two faces in the planet Venus, and she has been there in a regression with Megan before.
Mm-hmm.
And so now she can see that those faces were real and that they represent the sentience of the planet.
Yep.
And so what happens is that even in the middle of Venus, there is the beautiful lady again,
Yep.
in a bubble, but you can see her from the outside, and that is because her spirit is not trapped in the bubble. It is as like right now, where I am talking to you,
Mm-hmm.
but she is lying on the couch.
Yep.
And she has not left her body.
Yep.
But her other mission, being that I am, can communicate.
Yep.
Kind of like sending a Morse code, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so she's the sleeping beauty inside the planet, but she also sends her spirit around the planet to direct.
Yep.
And work with the beings, the elementals,
Yep.
or whatever they term themselves. Each planet has a different set of names. And the rocks and the fishes and whatever they have on that planet,
Yep.
to give directions. And then there's more bossy part of her spirit, which is the second image Katish saw on Venus, which is in charge of communicating with the beings that choose to be the beings of that planet. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
And that becomes a more bossy part of the spirit because the bossiness is don't do that or do that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes she doesn't have to do that because there is another person, like Cindy was, who was the bossy one who came back in when there was trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but sometimes the beautiful being inside the planet has another avatar,
Mm-hmm.
person of their soul, slice of their soul, that is willing to be the bossy person. So they're both inside the planet and they visit the planet. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You would call it a dual incarnation.
Yep.
And sometimes she can be the beautiful maiden and the bossy maiden. Sorry, she thought that was funny all at once.
Mm-hmm.
The beautiful bossy maiden and also the wafty, wavy, I love you, I love the earth, I love the rocks, as all at once. So very contrasting ways to express the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't really know where I was going. Oh yes, so the planet will go kaboom, but it's okay. The beautiful maiden will be fine.
Okay. So are you able to help me understand why we're seeing this event as part of the happiest moments of Katisha's soul?
Because it's baby.
Okay.
We like babies. Our soul likes babies.
Okay.
Babies of all forms. Baby chickens, baby humans, baby cats, baby beings, baby stars, baby fairies, baby everythings. We like babies. We don't like to watch the birth. It's quite icky. We do like the cuddles.
Old.
We like the cuddles and we like the giggles. It makes us feel quite stupid, like funny, stupid, giggly, silly little girl. And that brings us joy. We do like to play with the beings. And we do try to be with baby beings all the time. But sometimes we have, oh dear, yes, had hard, sad earth incarnations
Mm-hmm.
when all the babies did die. Many babies did die in one lifetime.
Okay.
Especially hard when these were babies where, yes, I know Max, she doesn't want to reveal, but where there were supposed to be boy babies and there were no boy babies, and that was troublesome.
That's okay.
But
we're concentrating on this happy time where she's now rescued a baby.
And that is why the babies bring joy, but they also can bring sorrow, and we have to help her balance out the excitement of baby frogs and cats with baby owls and, it doesn't make sense, newborn wizards and fairies, especially when surrounded by baby situations that involve sorrow. We try to bring in babies of other kinds to bring joy. Does that make sense?
Yes, that sounds lovely. So you're basically saying that for an example, if a human woman baby does not survive, you bring in maybe a kitty cat, a little kitten, to hopefully provide some peace while they're dealing with the sorrow.
In some situations, we have even brought in a baby dragon, but she has not seen it until when she was a boy that time, was much bigger.
Okay.
And suddenly, poof, like Puff the Magic Dragon, there was a big dragon. But the baby dragon is like, I've been here the whole time. And the boy is like, where did you come from? And so we can't help that.
No, of course
But we sent the baby dragon.
Yeah.
And the boy became the dragon's baby. And so baby you, baby me, we're all babies. Babies bring joy. And in this lifetime, she was able to see the baby was redirected to, oh, I see. It did not. Oh, don't divulge that. Okay. It did have a choice. It could either choose. No, don't say. It had two options, and it chose one of them.
Okay.
Which sounds stupid because, of course, it chose one, but it's happy. The baby is happy, and I am happy, and so we got to see a baby, and we got to help, and we made sure her friend, who was the beautiful lady inside the planet, could also not become stuck. And she got to be safely Whatever she did, can't say next. But she was fine too. So all of the energy of that planet was dissolved. As though in a black hole, but a black hole is also symbolic of a space of creation, because energy does not get destroyed. So the energy of all the energies that were the planet were able to be, depending upon whether they were experiential or task-based, directed into, a human would say, a black hole, where they went around and around like in a washing machine, and then they came out brand new, like being born again. So lots of babies. And maybe even a new baby planet.
So even the idea of a baby planet makes you happy.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want Katische to know or understand from where you are right now?
Baby angels are fun.
Okay. Anything else?
You want to see a baby angel being born?
It sounds like she would enjoy that.
No, I'm asking you, Cindy.
I would probably enjoy that also, but this is about Katische today, not me.
Wow. It seems it is an option.
Okay.
Let me just check this report.
Yeah.
As I sense there are many options. Let's see. Oh, there's a baby lion over there too. No, I don't think we're going to the lion.
Okay.
Because we tried to show her a romantic scene and she saw two lions biting each other's heads off. So I don't think she thinks that's very fun. We even put them in a suit, a wedding suit for the male and a nice white dress for her. And they went to do the bridal kiss. And she turned into a lion and bit off the face of the other man. So I think that she thinks romance is quite like a fact. So maybe we will do romance later on. Maybe we might do that as the fifth memory. Oh dear, I don't think she's ready for that yet. Happy romance. Oh, what's that? You can't be happy and be married. Don't be stupid. Oh, yes, I see why. Chopping of heads. She's had her head chopped off and, oh, she's being disemboweled. And, oh, dearly dear, that doesn't fit in with this session, does it? No, we can't show that. We will have to search deep in her mind for happy love. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It makes me laugh. Why did she choose all these devastations? Oh dear, silly girl. She always does choose the hard path. Oh, why did she do that? Really? How much soul growth do you need in a lifetime? Oh, that's like, oh dear. That's like eating a whole packet of prunes when you're only a tiny bit constipated. That's a bit silly. Oh dear. Oh, she's a brave one, that one. Silly girl, look at that one. Oh, dear me. I should have been laughing, but really. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Oh, it's quite funny to me up here, but geez, it's serious down there. Oh, dear. Dear, dear. Oh, I don't like that one. I can't even look at that head being stuck on that pole on that bridge. Oh, God, help me. Even though there isn't a God, but oh, geez, that one's interesting. How do you hang on back to the list? I think baby angels are safer. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking
Oh,
maybe
dear.
baby angels are safer right now
Oh, dear.
for the
Just a
purpose of
minute.
today.
Ah. Oh, dear. Oh.
Are you okay?
Yes, I was just pondering why I have this pretend fake. Oh, I just saw an aurora. Does she want to go there? Oh, she does like the auroras. Angels or auroras, or perhaps they are the same thing.
Interesting.
But we don't want to give away all the secrets. No, we're definitely going to the baby nursery.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it does seem to me
Mm-hmm.
like she does see them in her mind like a hospital ward, but you know, like the 1980s, 1990s style where they put the bouncy babes in not a castle, what do you call it? Cradle? It's
Yeah.
like a castle for one, very small castle for one, with the name,
Yep.
and they put it up to the display window.
Yep.
And then the mama and the dad can bring all their proud visitors past the window
Yep.
to have a Google in
Mm-hmm.
at the babies, and they point and they say, "That's mine, but it can't come out yet because the nurse is in charge." And she said, "No, no, no, no. You have too many germs. Stay away." So it's
Yeah.
a bit like that. But it's not really, because an angel is energy, right? So you can't stuff energy into a castle called a cradle, can you? Or even inside a doll.
But that's okay. This is just visualization for her human mind to understand.
Yes, there's lots of babies. Do you believe that
What?
this could be a bit pernickety, but casting religious beliefs aside,
Yeah.
when the big daddy or the big mummy
Mm-hmm.
or the big being or the big son, or whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
did decide to give birth, he, she, or it created a nursery.
Okay.
Which is where we're back to the big black womb again. And the nursery was inside this big black womb.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were lots of these castles or cradles. I like to use the word castles.
Yep.
Because no, we won't say that. This, yes, no. And oh dear. It's a bit like when these human women have a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
They push out the child.
Yep.
And so the being that creates the world pushes out some energy and plops it into a nursery.
Okay.
And there, little by little, the energy forms into a shape. And they decide to make a beautiful shape. The most beautiful shape that ever did exist. So it's a reflection of itself, but also kind of unique. And it sparkled.
Yeah.
And it shone. And it glistened. And it reflected. And it contained colors like the aurora. And it could be manipulated. And it could create wisdom and messages. Because these were smart babies, very smart babies. Can't have dumb babies. That's a particular incarnation choice, but not for angels, right? Angels are beautiful and smart, and they were the first babies. Well, sorry, the archangels were the first babies, but we're just being a bit more generic right now.
Yep.
Because archangels, wisdom, nobody goes there. But angels is a baby nursery for energy. And they're very cute. They're very cute, yes. And lots of different colors. And I believe the humans do use energy they call words to give them signposts they call names. Is that right?
Yes, names.
Right, yes. So you could have Angel Aurora. She's a pretty one. And I don't know, there's so many of them, so many names. But I think you could make up any name and put it on an angel, really, because there's an angel for everybody. And those humans, they do get born with an angel.
Yep.
Called a guardian angel.
Yep.
They're with them always, and they have a very particular name that is supposed to be very special. And so you have to get special permission from the big cheese, him or her or their self. Is it hard with all these signposts you have to put on names these days? And if the big cheese says yes, then you can reveal the guardian its angel's name.
Okay.
And if the big cheese says no, you can't. Sacred special, and I don't know why, but it's for a reason, I guess. And so the guardian angel follows around the human being if they are in human form. And most of the time, the silly human beings, they don't see them. It's like having a ghost following them around. Hello, I'm here, but no, I'm not here. And that causes us a lot of, oh dear moments. Because, oh dear, she hasn't seen him yet. Oh dear. She's very scared, but can she see that there's this being that is very beautiful, protecting? And she just thinks the boogie monster's going to get her, and because she doesn't believe, it's a bit like Monsters Inc.
Yep.
And the belief does create. Well, that's not the happiest memories of the soul, but let's go on. The beautiful baby angels. How did we get here? Oh, yes, they all have a name. And some of them get born specifically to go with the energy that decides to be a human being.
Yep.
And they don't incarnate, so to speak, but they are stamped with an individual identification.
Yep.
Which says this angel belongs to this human. So there's that kind of baby in the nursery.
Do they belong to the human, or do they belong to that soul?
Both.
Okay.
But particularly when they're in human form.
Okay.
But always, whether the human is called Fred or Mary or Jennifer.
Yep.
Or Mohammed. Just trying to think of a name that wasn't British.
Yep.
Or American. It's like a soul stamp.
Yep.
But it goes with him in each of the costumes that they put on. And then, what else do we see here? That baby.
What's that, baby?
That baby angel is Lorna would call them unemployed angels. That angel just washes, wants to be a bit wishy-washy for the first experience.
Okay.
She just wants to float around
Yep.
and get a feeling for Earth,
Mm-hmm.
for example.
Yep.
She might just try it out and see what it's like to be invisible, but try to communicate with people.
Yep.
And she might get a beep, 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 beep message. I don't know why I'm using Morse code, but you know what I mean. A light language message.
Yep.
Which tells her that human being is going to step out on that road right now, and if you don't get her attention, she's going to be deaded, and she's not ready to be deaded.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Yep.
And that helps them toughen up a bit, the angels, because they're so soft and floaty and full of love, but they're not humans,
No.
so they can't experience emotion in the way the human can experience it. But they have to learn to feel the emotion that the human is going through so they can be of service.
So that they can respond to it.
Yes, because otherwise it's like, shall I have chocolate cake or shall I have banana cake? I don't know. Is banana cake better than chocolate cake? How do I know? It's just a ball of energy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the human does seem to prefer the carrot cake, but we know there's some kind of energy in that carrot cake that if she eats it, that she has a walnut allergy.
Allergy, yeah.
That is a very bad ball of energy. So there might be an angel that follows that child from birth to say, stay away from the carrot cake.
Right.
Which seems ridiculous. But
No,
because
it makes sense.
we don't really see the form of carrot cake. We just see the energy of desire.
Mm-hmm.
Because this particular baby, for example, does desire carrot cake.
Yep. Even though it's not good for them.
Well, that's the thing. You can have carrot cake without walnuts, and you can have carrot cake with walnuts.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the adventure for that baby is they chose to experience. Oh, it's quite similar to love, isn't it? Desire and hatred at the same time. I love you, but I don't want you. Oh dear. Oh, I love you, but you do bad things for me. And if I'm not careful, I'll love you, and I'll have you, and you kill me. That's so ridiculous, but sometimes, it's almost a resting incarnation, really, don't you think? Not really, but, in comparison to the other forms of love. But it's a way of learning energy, and the angel has to learn the energy, and the being that is known as a human being has to learn the energy as well.
Yep.
So sometimes we just do need to explore the energy of cake. And Katische finds that quite amusing because, as far as she remembers, her first message as a human being was not particularly mum or dad, it was cake.
Cake. Okay.
And she has eaten cake ever since. But she's not fond of the cakes with sultanas in them because they scream, "You will make me vomit."
Okay.
And I don't have a tongue, so I don't know what it feels like to have a sultana on your tongue. But apparently it's okay if it's dried, but if it's baked, it's really quite vomity. But anyway, back to the babies. Sorry?
I was going to say, I don't think that's the same for every human.
No, I do believe some people like to eat them.
Exactly.
We did
Lots of people.
have a big chuckle up here when Her firstborn baby in this incarnation, can't say his name, he doesn't like it. They were on a road trip and they stopped into the petrol station, I think you call it, to fill up with the petrol.
Yep.
And they had a break.
Yep.
And her mum was there. Her husband was off being a husband doing work.
Yep.
So he did not come on the big long drive. And basically they were hungry. So they had a cup of tea and they had a piece of cake. And it was a carrot cake. That's right. Yes, I can see it now. And the carrot cake had bloody sultanas in it. And do you know what happened? It was quite funny. The baby only ate the sultanas, and the mummy, not the mummy, but the mummy that Katische was, she ate the cake and the baby ate the sultanas. It was a great solution.
Okay. Excellent.
Babies are cute.
Okay.
Ah, dear, sorry. I got off track again.
That's okay.
You're supposed to be doing serious things like planets and, angels, right? Yes. Okay, so you can have an angel just for cake. I think that was probably the moral of the story. There's angels for every reason.
Yep.
And
Beautiful.
every situation.
Beautiful.
And there are baby angels. But there are the cherub ones too. Oh, yes. Cherub ones are fat and pudgy. Like babies. But they're not babies. They're just fat. Fat because they please the creator. Or whoever you want to call him. Because their energy is roly-poly like Santa Claus. And it does make the creator chuckle. Because the creator looks at them and just thinks of love. And I want to tickle. Squishy, squishy, squishy. But they do have a serious job to do, those cherubs, but that's another day, another lesson. But this, yes, babies. There's a nursery for baby angels. And when you have done being a being called a human being,
Yeah.
well, you could go to the baby nursery and become a baby angel. If you like. It's an adventure as well.
Wow.
You don't have to be only ever an angel. Because this is what people don't really understand, if you don't mind me getting serious for a little minute or two.
Go for it.
That angels are not defined by form. And so they can spread their energy into being an aurora, which is kind of like 100 telegram messages going at once, or Morse code messages, or 1 billion light codes going at once. Going, the world is beautiful, look here, don't look over there. The world is beautiful, look here, don't look over there. And then, sorry, I have one of those silly tear things. It is so beautiful that people cry.
Yeah.
So there's that contrast thing again. Sometimes the tears, they make you sad. Sometimes the tears, they make you cry. And if you're very lucky, you get to snort at the same time. But sorry, her friend is here and she's laughing as well. I don't know if you know her. It's not her, but it is her. And the not her is the little girl that Jamie channels.
Okay.
Do you know Jamie? She's a very beautiful blonde-haired lady on YouTube. And Maitland, that's right. It's not Maitland, but it is Maitland. Do you get what I mean? It's another slice of the Monopoly pie that is Maitland's soul.
Yep.
And she has been very, very busy at the moment.
Okay.
Because the not Maitland has been hanging out with Katische in her kitchen and in the car, trying to make her giggle because she's way too serious right now.
Yes, I agree.
And she has so many heavy burdens. And don't let me get started on the emails and things, but no, that's not happiest moment. But the non-Maitland, who, by the way, you know how the white wolf sent her to find the first boy ghost?
Yes.
Well, even before that,
Mm.
there were some messages that she got when she was learning to use the piece of wood that hangs on a rope.
The pendulum, yes.
Yes, that one. There's been lots of those things, haven't there? She
Mhm.
just throw them at the wall sometimes.
Yes,
And
she does.
she broke a very good one that way. Dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear, it did amuse us though. It bounced and broke. Dear. So yes. Anyway, back to that. The first message she ever got from was an angel
There you
in
go.
the wooden stick thing,
Yes.
and it said it was from Gabrielle, the angel, or Gabrielle,
Yep.
however you want to pronounce it. Yes, and she was like, an angel? Why would an angel contact me? And then the second message she got was from iKick, and he's the husband from Mars, I think. That's a bit confusing. And she's like, oh, why is an alien contacting me? And then the third one was, hi, it's Maitland, and I knew you when you were a baby, and I'm just going to say bye. And she was like, who's that? And that was funny because the baby, known as the not Maitland,
Mhm.
no, sorry, Katische was the baby, and the not Maitland came to visit and went coochie coochie coo because she likes babies too. And she recently discovered that Maitland, like the not Maitland,
Yes.
likes to make Katische giggle because in some other place, in some other time, somewhere her soul was her mummy too.
There you go.
So, what's that got to do with anything? Oh, saving souls, because she met Maitland through the television, because Maitland is channeled by, what did I say her name was? Grace? No, Grace is the other one. Jamie.
Mhm.
And Jamie used to be on the other television show called Channeling Eric.
Yep.
And Eric was a poor boy who committed suicide.
Yes.
And he's a spirit guide now. And this is coming around because get to the point. Eric did appear in her messages inside the audio stream when she was doing regression sessions for a client. And
Yep.
there were ghosties in there.
Yep.
And she could hear the ghosties talking. And then Eric was having a chat to them, and he left his voice signature, Eric, in the podcast. And nobody ever commented on it. But anyway,
But it happened.
it happened, and Eric and the not Maitland and the wolf that was white and not black and the man from Mars have been helping her in her earliest moments of being a rescue person again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And even though it requires a great bravery and seriousness and a very large elastic stretching of her brain to become a human radio antenna, she enjoys it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because the soul likes to rescue people.
Yep.
But it's like too much ice cream, it can make you sick.
Yes.
So sometimes we have to stop her. Otherwise, she would rescue anything, I think.
Yep.
She does warriors. That's it. I think, have we done babies, angels now? I think so. We kind of sort of explained it.
Okay.
Did
So
I got lost.
that's okay. That's okay. No problem. So with what you've shown us so far, we've seen how her soul likes to rescue beings, people, whatever word you like to use, and how she has this love of all things baby. Right?
Oh
And these
dear,
are her
sorry.
happy moments.
Sorry?
And
I
these
lost
are
that.
her happy moments.
Yes, and she does like big ships.
She likes big ships. Okay.
Except for the one that went down. Or the two that went down, that was bad. But she likes the big ships in space.
Okay.
Even though her human is very afraid of them.
Why do you think a human is afraid of them?
Because on Earth you build a house and it gets stuck into Mother Gaia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are like houses that float. And
Mm.
if your house is floating on Earth, it means there's been a big flood. Unless you're Noah. And then you've built a house that is a ship and a boat, and it does float. But she's not that. And she's worried about floating. So she's not even a very good swimmer. She can swim, but she doesn't like it unless she's floating on her back. She hates putting her nose down in the water. Because you can look up at the sun. Why would you put your nose down? And
But like,
she doesn't want a house that floats. That's why she lives on the top of a hill.
okay.
And there's something there that needs to be pickety out of the aura. That is to do with floating ships.
Yeah, because like when you have a house, like you said, you put it down into Mother Earth, right? Mother Gaia. So a floating ship, a floating home is there in Father Sky.
Yes, but she doesn't like the word Father Sky, and we don't know why either.
Okay. Okay, there's something there.
Yes. But
I think. What do you think?
yes, I don't think it's fun right now, but maybe there is a father that was mean or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because ships in the sky don't make you seasick. I think that is what she doesn't understand. Whereas ships on Earth make her, or did used to make her not sky sick. See, seasick. She used to go vomit everywhere, and even the planes in the air didn't make her vomit. And she even famously vomited out the side of a hot air balloon once. That was funny.
Okay.
It was the whoosh of the hot air balloon going higher, the whoosh of the flames, and she went, "Whoa, I've got a headache," and vomited out the side. And this little boy went, "Mummy, look at that!" And they all turned around and watched her vomit float by. Oh dear. And then there was another time she was in an aeroplane over the Milford Sound. Do you know where that is?
I do.
In New Zealand, and her uncle had chartered an aeroplane. Oh, it was very posh. And she wasn't used to poshness. And she was all dressed up for the day. And she got in the plane and went bump, bump, and she threw up all over herself. And she didn't have a change of clothes.
Oh no.
And we did see it as most amusing, but she did not. Oh dear, oh dear. And there was nowhere to buy a shirt in the Milford Sound, was there?
Of course not.
So, oh, it's so embarrassing for her mother. Troublesome child or something. But oh dear, her daddy, he was worried, but it's anyway, so the air bumpity bumps and the ground and the even the ground bumpity bumps. Car driving used to make her not seasick, what do you call it? Car sick?
Sick.
So you get sick all the time. Even yes. It's quite strange. But we do know that she doesn't throw up in the ships in the sky.
Okay.
Would you imagine that? That would be weird.
Oh, that's very
So
funny.
she just like the big ships in the sky because there's no bumpity bump. And it's
Okay.
very smooth sailing. And
Interesting choice of words there, smooth sailing.
well, they're so. Well, I don't think there's a thing called gravity, right?
Correct.
And I think she did get a big medal on a ship once up in
That sounds good.
a big black medal. And it stamped her soul as somebody important on a big ship.
Is that one of her happy memories? One of her happiest memories?
I think perhaps we'll see. Because there's a lot of purple energy around it, which is important.
Mm-hmm. So that's a healing energy, right?
And a signature energy. Like the human does see the purple behind the eyes a lot when she has them closed.
Yep.
Because this ship contains like in Star Wars, a Senate. It's not a Senate, but
Like a federation?
like a federation. You know when Senator in the prequels to Star Wars,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the young lady did fall in love with the young boy who became the bad one.
Yep.
And she was a senator or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you had these floating benches, and you went in and stated your case.
Yes.
Or blah blah blah. There's one of those up there, but it's not that. It's a federation.
Yep.
And she does belong to it,
Mm-hmm.
but the human does not like to. The human is going shh, because that's a scary concept. Because
It's not scary.
humans must be humble. She's had
Mm.
bad incarnations where she was too big an ego. So she tries to shh down now. But this was a big, proud moment, chest swelling moment,
Mm-hmm.
where she got a badge that made her the big boy of the Federation.
So that's exciting.
Well, we were all going, hooray.
Mm-hmm.
And she won't even allow herself to use the G word, hence you weren't allowed to use the G singing bowl. But it's a galactic federation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it's all she's allowing me to see, because she needs to become comfortable in her own way, in her own time, with that component of her soul, because it will bring her great joy. But she has fears to conquer still, because duality does exist in dimensions that are not on Earth, and she's only just conquering the baddies on Earth that involved the spirit releasement therapy stuff she learned to do.
Yes.
And so her brain, her mind did already say the galactic baddies is too much for my brain. And so we have said, well, just rest that corner of your brain until you're ready. And who knows if she'll be ready, but she has to do it in her own time, and then she will find great memories of joy. And we do not push anybody to share the happiest memories of their soul if they are not ready to share it, because they have not conquered the fear, because you have to still address the fear to get to the happiness sometimes. And when she does, she'll be bursting with pride. But I don't know, she might go and eat a cake to celebrate.
With no sultanas, right?
Yeah, and not a cherry on top either.
Okay.
She doesn't like the moschino cherries.
Yes.
Okay, yep. She doesn't like those, but might have pink icing, because
Okay.
she does like girl things. Even she doesn't look like a girly girl. She does like the girly girl things. Teacups, saucers, teapots. And yes, so there's a big moment that could be shared, but doesn't seem right now.
Okay.
And I do think possibly that we are about done.
I was going to say, are you done for today?
Because
Has she...
her eyes want to open, and she doesn't want to go there. She doesn't want to have that big proud moment yet.
Okay.
And she's done all the babies and the angels, and she did tell you a lot about the planet, and she didn't know she knew all that. Knew all that stuff.
Yep. Okay, I was about to say thank you.
And she's awake.
But I will say that anyway. So yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Hey.
That was very amusing. That was much more...
I got plenty of giggles out of it.
Please don't forget that if you'd like to partake in either a private session where nobody else sees you go into regression, just me, and there's no video recording, then you could go to katische.com and book yourself the series of 3 sessions for the happiest moments of my soul, and you make one payment on my website. The price is listed in Australian dollars, so you also have a currency conversion tool beside the checkout so that you can check what the price is in your local currency. I can guarantee it's a bargain at the moment. However, if you are the kind of person who enjoys allowing others to learn from your soul growth lessons, then you might be particularly drawn to being on the podcast as a podcast guest. So the kind of people that come on the podcast are not exhibitionists. They're the kind of people who are teachers, but not necessarily through writing, although they can be, but they are teachers who lead by demonstration. So if you're the kind of person who likes to show rather than tell, then the podcast is a great way for you to do both. So to thank you for your participation, I have drastically reduced the price of the sessions, and you can pay for those on a separate checkout at my website, katische.com. And in other exciting news, before we get back to the episode, which you came here for, I have restored and returned to the website my mediumship sessions. I've got a couple of things that are exciting in the works to do with mediumship. One is a book regarding ghosts, which I'm happy to announce that I'm getting back into very shortly. And second is still under wraps and discussion stage, so I can't mention that at all. But if you would like mediumship sessions, then you can go to katische.com again and book a session. Please note that I'm not a certified evidential medium, and I call myself a natural medium. And this is no disrespect to those who spent 10 years and countless hours of meditation and meditation circles, learning under an expert guidance. I just have chosen not to go that path. And this is because most of my mediumship has arisen through doing sessions like these. And you'll notice in this series, I have used my mediumship in almost all of the sessions to communicate with various entities and beings from the participants who are in regression and whose spiritual friends have asked to speak to me directly, or who have shown me something directly. So my mediumship skills came through my work and have evolved dramatically since 2000, and specifically since I started this podcast. So that's why I call myself a natural medium, not a certified evidential medium. And I know that there are some people who require evidence and they would like a certified evidential medium, and I do recommend that you do look for those words on the medium's websites if that's the kind of medium that you are looking for. If that is not something that you're worried about and you've seen enough evidence through and of my skills through the podcast, and some examples I have left and shown you on my YouTube channel, there's a playlist there called Messages from Beyond the Veil, then this might be an appropriate session for you. At the moment, I've specifically left the sessions just for half an hour so that you can understand the different kinds of mediumship that I do, because I don't just bring through your grandma or your late aunt. I work with the angels and archangels and can bring through ancestors, spirit guides, past life connections and animals, as well as beings from other locations and dimensions. Thus, sometimes you will not recognize the names or descriptions of the energy that is wishing to communicate with you via me, but your heart will. If you look past the fear of how do I know that this past life connection message is real, then you will find the timeless heart-based message and how it will apply to your life. However, I do need to make it a disclaimer. Any action you take as a result of hearing these messages in my mediumship session with you that you pay for is your own responsibility. I do not provide advice or recommendations in these mediumships. I do not predict the future. There are an infinite number of timelines open and available to you according to your daily actions and thoughts and your soul contracts. I simply relay messages from the spirit world. How you interpret them is up to you. I do know that they are a blessing, however. So if that's something that you would like to have a look at, go to katische.com/mediumship. And now it's time to return to the podcast episode